and welcome to the 6th of the series tutorials on collecting and visualizing urban informatics and modelling data. This tutorial will teach you how to create animations of a macro map in 3ds Max. If you haven't already watched the second series tutorial on how to create a macro map, you will need to watch this before continuing with this one. Once your 3ds Max file is open and your map is imported with the buildings, going over to the Create panel, select the camera icon. Under Object Type, select Physical so that we can bring the camera into the viewport. Now, you'll need to select the first point to where you want the camera to be placed and then click and drag out. So clicking here, and as you drag, you'll be able to see the camera lens and stopping where you're wanting the camera to stop. Selecting the Move tool, we can then move the camera into place on the street. The box at the end of the camera is where the camera view will be shown, so also making sure that's in place. Once your camera is in place, you can view it and make sure it's fine by selecting Perspective, right click, Camera, and select the camera. This will show you the view from the camera's perspective. To jump back out of it, same thing by right clicking Perspective, and then you can scroll back out. Now with this animation, I'm wanting the building heights to change as the camera moves down the street so it can show within years. So how I would do that is first going down to the Annotation Bar and selecting Auto. This will make it red so that we're in editing mode. The bar is at 0 to 100 at the moment, but I probably don't need that long. So first what I'm going to do is change it to 50. So it'll be 50 frames rather than 100. To do that, select Time Configuration and change the end time to 50 or whichever you're needing. You can make it higher or lower. And then hit OK, and then the frames has changed to 50. Now, my 0 out of 50, all the building heights will be as they are, but when it gets to, let's say, 5, I want it to go up 5 meters every 10. So I would select the buildings I want to change, go to the Modify tab and select OMS Shell. You'll then see the roofs of the buildings highlighted, and under Outer Amount is where we'll change the height. So when it's at 5 out of 50 frames, I want it to be 8 meters high. You'll then select the plus with a key to set a key in place, so that locks in that height for that frame. Moving across to 10, same thing, but maybe I'm going to go 12 this time. Set a key. 15. We'll go 15. Set a key, and so on. You can do this as many or as little times you like through it, just making sure the frames are selected and that you are selecting the set key option so it locks it in place. So I'm going to go up by 5s, so the frame will be the height from this point. So 25 out of 50 frames will be 25 meters high. Set the key. I'm going to do this right up to the 50 frame mark. As you can see, as I'm setting the frames, it's leaving little black boxes here. These sometimes appear as blue and red lines also, and that's how you know that the frame has been saved. And then you can obviously see in the viewport, as I'm doing this, the building heights are changing. And we'll do this right up to 50. Once you've set the last frame and saved that, select auto, and that will take you out of the editing mode, and you can pull the frames back to 0. To test it, you can simply hit the play button to play the animation, and you'll see the buildings grow. So you can have it as this, or as if you're wanting to see it from the camera view moving down the street, what we'll need to do is add a path for the camera to follow. So by moving this out a bit more, so the path ends the end of the street, what we'll need to do is draw a line that acts as the path. So going back to the create panel and then going into geometry and then the one next to it, under object type, making sure splines are selected, select a line and then click and drag where you're wanting your line to be drawn. And then using the move tool to then pull your line into place. Once the line is in place and you're happy with where it's going, selecting the camera, go up to animations and then select constraints, path constraint. You then want to click on the line that we've just drawn. You'll then see the dotted line and the line go yellow. Hit select and the camera will move into the place. So at the beginning of the line, the camera's then adjusted itself to there. Now that we've done that, the camera is on a path constraint from that line. So if we hit play, you'll see the camera move down the street. Now the final step is to just change the view so that you can see the camera view down the street rather than as a bird's eye view or any other view if you're wanting. So to do that, as before, right select perspective, cameras, Phys camera 001, and that will pop you back down to that view of the camera. You can move this view every time by simply using the move tool and moving the camera up, down, left or right. Once you're here, you can select play and the animation will play through, or you can drag the animation bar yourself through, and as you can see, as you walk through the buildings, the height is changing. To jump back out, again by right clicking perspective, changing to the view to whatever you're liking and hitting play, and you'll see it grow. Now if you were wanting a view that wasn't the camera view, to get rid of the camera you could simply delete it, or if you're wanting to do multiple, you could just select the camera and the line and go hide selection, and that will disappear. So if you are wanting one from a higher point, you can do that. You can also go into any of the other buildings. So when we've selected these outer shells, it's only the ones that are highlighted. If you wanted to change these ones as well, you would just go through and do the same steps by selecting the building groups and changing the outer height of them and setting keys for each one. And that is how you can create an animation in 3ds Max. Thanks.